Hello, World Cultures and Geography class. Hopefully, everyone had a wonderful weekend. Today, I'm going to kind of go over some things that you guys should have kind of completed last week, and then also kind of get into some things that you should be working on this week. We're going to continue to finish up Latin America. I'm also going to start kind of keeping track of the participation points. Those of you that are watching the videos and kind of going along with making sure you're completing the assignment. So this will only help your grade if you are getting this stuff done. So remember, this is your education. Work at it. Don't just sit back and relax because you feel you have the free time. So this is your education. It pays off. All right, so let's kind of get into what we're going to do here. And I wanted to show you a couple of things. Not that. Okay, so you should have finished comparing the Gauchos versus Cowboys. I think a few of you guys kind of showed me what you guys had there. Um, so I want to move on to looking south. I kind of went over this with you, talking about the Pampas. I do want to show you this one little thing here for Atacama Desert. So let me kind of go here. So if you can see my um, site here, Encyclopedia Britannica, gets into the Atacama Desert. Cool. My lights come back on there. There we go. All right. Cool arid region in northern Chile. So this way we know exactly where it's located. 600 to 700 miles long from north to south. Its limits are not exactly determined, but it lies mainly between the south bend of the Loa River and the mountain separating the Salado Copiapo drainage basins. So however you say that. And then there's some pictures there. So that would be kind of describing the location as we talked about things that you should be putting in those boxes. So if you kind of take here, again, kind of showing you where it's located. I'm going to move on. Some more pictures. And there's also a video again. And just continue to kind of read down here. So it kind of describes the place. And then also talks about the use of, if we were to say human environment interaction, talks about how the inhabitants of the region, um, it does talk about an extinct Indian culture. And then if we kind of move on a little bit here, there are mineral resources that can be used. Again, if that is being pulled out of the earth, the human environment interaction there. So sodium nitrate deposits. And then also talks about some things that have taken place there, things like war. Again, that's going to be part of your human environment interaction. There's definitely other information describing the region. So again, don't forget location, place, region, human environment interaction, and movement. So it can be the minerals that are being made into something for use, being moved to other places. People, like they talk about the natives there, the natives and their movement in and out, or even in some cases, extinction. So again, that's what you would look at putting in the box right here. And then you would do the same thing for the other one. So you can use the same website here and then just plug in the different locations that's listed on these boxes. All right, so we'll move on a little bit here. If you want to show your work on Google Classroom, feel free to share so other people can see what you have. Maybe they didn't think about that idea. Same thing as we would do as if we were working in groups or working with a partner in class. If you post it on here, others can see your work and also learn from you, and you can learn from others. All right, so I wanted to get into the who's growing banana. So if hopefully you've done that from last week. I wanted to go over at least kind of talk about the answers to this. But before I do, there's one thing I want to show you. These terms right here, I do want you to jot these terms down. Production, the growing and making goods for sale. So jot that definition down in your notebook. And then dictator, forceful, often brutal, one man rule. So there's not a Congress, there's no Senate. One person has all this power. Normally they have people that work with them, but at the same time, they have all the power. They make all the decisions. So that's the dictator. And the importance of these two terms here is simply because we're going to be using this in the next part when we talk about the bananas. So I wanted to kind of go over that first. So make sure you jot this down. Remember, you can always pause the video, take your time, write it down, and then I'm going to go on to the next thing here. All right, so this is kind of what we did in class before, just kind of get you guys to think about how to answer some of these questions, how to rule out the wrong ones, how to figure out how to choose the right answers. So I'm going to go ahead and go through some things that you guys should have written down. So I'll show you guys a few things here. And so for your first question there, so all these statements about Costa Rica make sense except it. And so basically, when you go through the questions here, exports more bananas than Brazil, A. B, produces more bananas than Panama. C, exports more bananas than the Philippines. And then D, produces more bananas than the United States. So your answer there definitely should be C, exports more bananas than the Philippines. Since Brazil is listed, isn't listed, it isn't a top exporter, of course. While production isn't given, Panama is small. Most of the U.S. is too cold to grow tropical plants and crops and things like that. So definitely can't put them on the market there. All right, let's move on to the next one there. Which statement would not be a logical assumption? And I'm just going to kind of get you guys can kind of read the choices there yourself. And so your answer should have been B. Russia grows enough bananas for its own people, but doesn't export them. So you can see why this makes sense. Think about how cold Russia is. I know we haven't really talked about the region of Russia, but if you look at even where it is located, way above the equator, and as we know just by watching in the news, the clothes that they wear, we know that's a very cold climate area. So you're not going to get those tropical fruits. All right, the third one here. Which question can be answered based on the charts? So based on your process of elimination, going through each one, I'm not going to spend time on each one here. A, what was the value of Guatemala's banana export during 2013? Okay, so that's the one that can be answered based on your chart up here. All right. So now some things that it says brainstorm a list of factors that could possibly impact the price of bananas. So some things that you can put here. And of course your answers will vary, but here are some things that you can definitely have put down. So some of the best things I would put down were possibly weather conditions such as too much or little rain, hurricanes, so some things I put down, events in banana growing countries elsewhere, diseases, parasites, or other problems that can affect bananas, labor shortage or surplus, labor costs, cost of fertilizer, crop yields, like if you have a high yield one year, a low yield another year, transportation costs, that can definitely affect the price of bananas. If it costs more to ship it, they're going to put the cost onto you. Processing costs and new technologies, etc. Okay, so those are all some things that you could have placed on these lines here. So Banana Republic, this was something you should have read or definitely reading by today. Read over the bananas information. This tells a story of basically a guy named Minor Keith. Okay, left his home in New York and went to Costa Rica to build a railroad. Okay, from there, bought a lot of land next to a railroad, grew bananas. Take the bananas, put them on the railroad, and then transport them to other countries in Latin America and to the U.S. The problem with that was many of the native people that lived there, uh, even though it created jobs and things like that, it took away a lot of land from the natives. So basically, if you read through here, it talks about the pluses and the minuses of this business. So make sure you read through here. And then after you've read this information here, it says the big picture. Okay, so production, packing plant, transportation. So we kind of take a look at that. So these are all information of things that go on to produce bananas, or that's important for the production of bananas. Miscellaneous points to consider. So you're going to see the pros and the cons here in these boxes. So things like child labor is sometimes used in banana farming. We definitely don't want that. Chemicals used on crops can impact the health of the farm workers and others. So definitely take your time and read through both points, the pluses and the minuses. Think about which one you feel a little where your heart is going towards, as far as you feel there's more pluses than minuses, or do you feel there are more minuses than pluses? And that's going to lead you to the next step here, your position paper. So your position paper here, you're going to jot down, okay, what do you think after you've read the information, looked at the chart, what are the negative effects? Okay, so analyze that. Neutral information meaning it has kind of like no effect at all on anyone. And then the positive effects will go in the box here. So it says analyze information from the lesson and then take and defend your position on the banana industry in Latin America. And then do your write up here. Okay. So you're taking, it says take a position, it's position paper, which means that you're either going to feel that this is a great thing about what's happening with bananas and this business in Latin America, or you feel it is extremely negative, it should be shut down, whatever side you want to take. And then that's what you're going to write about here, and then give your reasons why to back it up. Okay. So I would kind of get more into the counter argument in this, but I'll try to say that one for later. So state your position. And stating your position should be like your thesis statement that we talked about in class 2 weeks ago. So have your thesis statement. That means I feel that the banana business by such and such here, Minor Keith, should be shut down completely. The land should be given to the natives. And if that's your position, then after you make that statement, then you're going to back it up with your reasons why. So, and then that will get you through today. Feel free to take a picture of your position statement. You can post it on Google Classroom. Like I said, I'll be giving some participation points here that can only help you. And then others can read your statements, and then we can also give comments on Google Classroom. I'm going to try to set up a forum where we all can kind of share information as far as giving your comments, your thoughts on some of the things that we've covered this week and last week. So kind of stay tuned for that. That will be coming. And any questions, feel free to, hey, you can post on Google Classroom. People can chime in, or you can just email me more directly, and I can respond to your comments that way. So thank you for being a part of this session here. Have a great day today, and hopefully get all your work done. All right. Talk with you later. Goodbye.